Okay, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead, everybody. Which chapter we are in now? Salaries. Income from salaries. What have we seen? Have we seen section 15? Charging section, correct? Charging section. That is eligibility or qualification of that particular income. It is eligible to be taxed under this head of income, right? All right. So what does section 15 say? But quickly tell me. When is salary taxable? When is salary taxable? Tell me. On what basis? Quickly, all of you. On what basis? Due basis or receipt basis? Or due or receipt or what? Whichever is earlier. Whichever is what? Earlier. Right, Delia? So we covered all those cases. No? We have covered all those cases. All right, let's go ahead, everybody. So, what was section 16? What was section 16? Deductions from gross salary. Deductions from gross salary. First one is what? Standard deduction. First one is standard deduction. How much? 50,000, 50 rupees. 50,000 rupees or actual gross salary, whichever is lower. So up to 50,000 you can get. Clear? 16.2 we have seen entertainment allowance, right? No, 16.2 is what, bacho? Entertainment allowance, correct? That is a deduction, but allowed to only which employees? Allowed to only government employees, okay? Central government or state government. But again, there is a limit for that deduction. Yes, check. Lower of 5,000 or 20% of basic or actually receive, right, Ilya? So yesterday also in the last lecture I told you, no, your deduction cannot be more than the income. Deduction cannot be more than the income. Fine, Ilya? So we'll go ahead, everybody. And lastly, what about your PD? Professional tax. It is again allowed on payment basis. Allowed on payment basis. Okay. All right, let's go ahead. Did we also cover a little bit of basics of allowances? Tell me. We just started with the concept of allowance. No? Tell me quickly. You can unmute. Huh? We started with a little bit of discussion of allowance. I hope that is okay. Remember, I gave you meaning also of the word allowance. What was that meaning? It means something is allowed. And for salaries, but what is the meaning for salaries? For salaries, it means something is allowed in the part of salary. As a part of salary. Yes. So every month or regularly you'll be getting something in that salary. So salary just doesn't mean only basic. Salary has lots of parts in it. Salary has what, bacho? Lots of part in it. One of them is basic, bonus, commission, and then you have other part remaining is what? Are what? Allowances. Yes, Julia. Again, just for the sake of example, I'll show you quickly. Okay? Pay attention. In some questions, you'll understand. Check here. This is the question, in fact, we are going to do in the next first part now. Check. Shrikant has 2 sons, etc., etc., whatever it is. But he has some income. Check here. Children education allowance. Then what? Hostel allowance, transport allowance, tribal area allowance. You know, these are all his income throughout the month. Right, Ilya? Check here again. Basic salary, 50,000 rupees per month. Then DA, commission, bonus, your leave salary, etc. All these are what are part of salary. So please understand always, salary just doesn't mean basic. It has other components, parts also. Clear? And one of the important part is what? Allowance. And in salary, why do we pay allowance? In salary, but why do we pay allowance? There are so many different allowances, but why? Because every allowance is paid for different purpose. Every allowance is paid for different purpose. Clearly, all of you? Check. So that is what we are going to do today. Different allowances. Correct? So let's go ahead. I think I told you to read something. No? Something was there for homework to read. You know? Ready? A very lengthy chapter, no? Check. I think I've covered this now. This part is done, kind of, no? Allowance means what, bacho? Part of salary given for a specific purpose. I'm repeating now. What is allowance? It is part of salary given for a specific purpose. Clear? Now a DA is given. Tell me quickly. I think we had discussed this. I don't know, yesterday. Why DA is given? Dearness allowance. To compensate against inflation. Very good. Yes, Mansikar. To compensate against increase in prices, that is compensate against inflation. Clear till you? Overtime allowance. You're working more than the required, or you're working more than your legal labor hours. For that, there's also one of the, regular, which we practically also use. There is also something called as shift allowance. Okay, don't write down. This is for your knowledge. Shift allowance. See, but overall in India, we have a very big industry, or very good, or you can say field of KPO, also KPO. Are you aware of that KPO? Have you heard of KPO? BPO? Correct? Have you? Tell me quickly, all of you. What? Very good. Knowledge process outsourcing. Correct. Knowledge process outsourcing means what? In India, lots of work is also done. In India, lots of work is done of US-based countries or UK-based countries or foreign countries, actually. Their work is getting done in India. That is what out there outsourcing the work to us here in India. Clear? Even I have worked actually for 1.5 years in one of the KPOs. But that was UK based. UK, okay, United Kingdom. So obviously our working hours should match here in India and in UK. So we used to work from 1 to 9 or 2 to 10, depending on some that daylight saving, etc. But that was our timing, 1 to 9 or 2 to 10 PM. So obviously that is not the normal business hours, and that is not normal working hours. Clear till all of you? So just because your timings have been shifted, your shift timings are different. They used to pay different allowance. That was called as shift allowance. If you're working in normal office 9 to 5, you will not get this allowance. If you're working at various hours, let us say some people used to come at 4 PM also, or 5 PM to work, because they used to work in US based, you can say, process. So again, their working hours were different. So again, shift allowance is given. Okay, so allowances are given for specific purpose. There will be uniform allowance, somewhere it is there, maybe. It will come, okay, it will come later on. Uniform allowance. Check here. So what do you think, what is the purpose of uniform allowance? I'm just discussing the purpose of uniform allowance. Why do you think a uniform allowance is given? Tell me. Why a uniform allowance may be given? Within Kushbu, Mansi, Indrajit. Batao. Why an uniform allowance may be given? Any idea? No idea. Okay. No guess also. It is given. Achha, where do we use uniform? School. Where else? Are you paying salary to children now? No. Office. In a way, let's call it as factory. No. Okay, this uniform is about your dress only, okay? Your shirt, pant, etc. Factory. In factory, yes. Police also correct. Yes. Police also uniform correct. Yes, right. You're right. Correct. You are right. Factory or police also. Government officials. They have to work in that uniform only. Factory, maybe you might have seen, okay, blue shirt, black pant, something like that, or some extra something is given because they are working in a particular area. Area means in the factory. And they have to use that, and they have to use that uniform only. They have to come in that uniform only. They can't use their own personal clothing, correct? Now to maintain that uniform, washing, cleaning, and ironing, all of it, there is an extra expenditure unnecessarily, correct? So to again compensate, you understand? Pay for the maintenance of that uniform. So amount in the salary is given. Amount in the salary so that you can maintain your uniform. Maintain is understood now, or your laundry expenditure. Clear? So again, last time I'm saying, all the allowances are given, or whichever allowances are given, They are for a specific purpose. Understood? Clear? Sure. Let's go ahead. Check here. This model also covered a basic, bonus. This examples I have given you. Types of different allowances. Okay. Fine. Sure. This I told you to read. Okay. MPMLS. We have covered that. Which one? Daily allowance and which allowance? Constituency allowance. No. Correct. Both of them were exempt. Okay. HRA will do it in some time, but before HRA, you have to arrive at some other allowances. Okay. Check. HRA is coming under which section? Section bacho. 10. What is section 10? All of you tell me quickly. All of you quickly. Yes, correct. Exempt income. I didn't know, but 10.1 is agri income. Section 10 overall is the entire chapter which we have done. Only section 10. It is the entire big list of exempt income, isn't it? Clear? Section 10 is what? Exempt. So in 10.1 we have seen agri, 10.2 HUF, 10.2 your partnership, all of that. Correct? So we have this entire big list. 10.7 we have been foreign allowance, 10.17 MPMLA constituency allowance. Then there was your disaster something, that compensation paid. So many things we have seen, remember? Alright. So among that is what? 10.13A house rent allowance. So bachu, now tell me, section 10 talks about exemption or no? Yes. And allowance is bachu, what? Part of salary. And I had told you in section 10 also. What did I tell you? That section 10 gives you a list of incomes. And this income is obviously bachu, is going in one of the 5 heads of income. Section 10 gives you list of incomes which are exempt. Correct? And every income has 5. I mean, any income can go into any of the 5 heads of income. So I told you that house property can be there, or salary, PGBP, capital gain, IOS. That income will be divided into any of the heads of income. Now, what are we discussing? Exempt income. But which head of income? Salaries. Are you getting my point or no? The first, there has to be income and then there will be exemption. No. Isn't it? First, there has to be income and then there will be exemption. Income is which head we are discussing right now? Salaries. And then we are taking a reference of section 10, exempt income. So first of all, what I'm trying to tell you here is HRA will be given in the salary. No. HRA will be given in the salary. And this is also mentioned in section 10, especially now 10.13A. Then we will see their exemption rules. Are you getting my point or no? All of you. Yes. So HRA is what? Income. And then again, we are giving the exemption. Clear till here? Fine. So to see all the entire list of which are exempt and which are taxable. Okay. Check now. Come to page 6.6. Special allowances. Okay. Exempt under section 10.14. See, what all you want, you can always go back to your chapter of exempt income, section 10. You'll understand. That is an entire big list, no? Now check here in this table again. Some allowances are fully taxable. You earn it, it is taxable. Some allowances are fully exempt. You earn it, no tax at all. And some are what? Partly taxable. Therefore, obviously what? Partly exempt. And whenever the word exempt is used, we have to refer to this section. Section 10. Correct, Ilya? So this exemption, whatever you are discussing, it is income. If you again go back to the definition of income, whatever you earn is income. It is taxable. But it will not be taxable only if it is mentioned specifically as exempt in section 10. Are you getting my point? So if it is not exempt, it is bacho taxable. So we have to look at, and I told you, every section, subsection of section 10 is a story in itself. There are lots of different rules and everything for calculation. Clear? So what I'm trying to tell you, we have to look at proper section number 10 to check how much they are exempt. In this case is partly taxable. And in this case, they are what? Fully exempt. Clear till here? So to refer to what? Section number 10. And from this head of income, salaries. Clear? So let's go ahead. Sorry. Check bacho, under partly taxable now again. Which one is remaining? HRA 10.13A and some special allowances. Okay? Some special allowances, but which are given under section what? 10.40. Okay? What is common between 1013 and 1014? They are partly taxable. They are what, bacho? Partly taxable. That means some part can be exempt, some will be taxable. So obviously, we have to refer to the sections itself to look how to do the calculations. है ना? Okay, till here, Nitin, Kushbu, Mansi, Indrajit, all of you. Let's go ahead. 1013 we'll do later on. First, come to 1014. 1014, bacho. What is 1014? Fully exempt or fully taxable? Partly. Okay. Partly taxable, therefore partly exempt. Clear till here, all of you? Fine. Read with rule 2 BB. What was rule 4? Remember or no? Rule 4. Which chapter? Rule 4. House property. Enough? Unrealized rent. Okay. Correct. Your exemption means what? Amount of allowance or amount utilized. Pay attention now. For a specific purpose for which allowance was given, whichever is lower. Amount of exemption will be what, bacho? Amount given, hai na? Or amount spent, whichever is lower. Okay. For that, you have to look at 1014.1. Check now. 1014.1. Check here. There is no limit on the amount which the employee can receive from the employer. There is no limit on the amount of this allowance. We are bacho in which category? Special allowance. Don't forget. Correct? There were some fully taxable allowances. There were some fully exempt allowances. We are in the middle of that now. Special. It can be partly taxable, therefore partly exempt. Those allowances. Under that now again, you have two categories. First one is what? There is no upper limit in the amount of allowance which can be given by employer to employee. No upper limit. It can be 1,000 rupees per month or 10,000 rupees per month. No monetary limit. Okay, till here? But whatever amount is received should be fully utilized for the purpose for which it was given. Only then it will be exempt. Means what? Pay attention. If 100 rupees was given as allowance and you spent 80 rupees, okay, this is your income, this is your expenditure. How much will be taxable? 20 taxable, bacho. Are you getting my point or no? How much exemption you gave of what you had spent? Agree till here? If you received 100 rupees, very simple. You did not spend at all. So obviously fully taxable. Yes. If you receive 100 rupees and you spend 100 rupees, how much taxable in your hands? Nothing. Understood or no? If you receive 100 rupees for a particular purpose, let us say uniform allowance, but your laundry bill for that month was 120. What do you think, Bachu? What will happen? Is it income now? Obviously not. You received 100. How can, Bachu, your tax amount can be more than income? If I received 100, can I say my tax liability is 120 rupees or taxable amount is 120 rupees? No. In fact, here it just means if I received 100, but if I spent 120, that means I spent 20 rupees from my pocket. I did more. I spent more than what I had received. But how much will be the taxable amount? Nothing. But why? Because we said exemption is how much? Check here again, if you remember. Whichever is lower, whichever is lower? The amount received or spent. Whichever is lower. Amount received 100. Spent 120. Which is lower 100. So exemption will be 100, obviously. Understood or no? Tell me quickly, fatafat. Now you have to check the purpose. It will be given to you in the question also. That is allowances for what purpose? Because every allowance wise, the rules may be different. Every allowance wise. Okay. Did you understand this point? Okay. Now understand one more thing. In this example, I give you 100 rupees. Okay. All right. It can be 1,000 also, or it can be 10,000 rupees also, or 1 lakh also. Is there a monetary limit in 1014.1? 1014.1 I'm talking about. No. Okay. No monetary limit. Okay. Finally, but exemption is dependent on what? Tell me. If you little bit understood. There is no monetary limit. The employer can pay any amount as this allowance But exemption depends on, tell me. Any answer you can give here. There is no right answer. Come on. Exemption depends on. Tell me all of you. Very good, Mansi. Good answer. Very good, Indrajit. Correct. It depends on bachcho. Expenditure. Income to you are getting from employer. That is not in your hands. We are doing tax liability calculation of the employee now. So in employee's hand, it is exempt or taxable. It depends on the amount he spends for the purpose. Okay. Amount which he spends. Spending will decide. It is exempt or taxable. Clear or no? See, he receives. See, understand. Again, I'm repeating. Income means whatever is received. Income means whatever is received. So we'll add in his income whatever he has received. For reducing exemption, exemption is amount is what? Spent or received, whichever is lower. Spent or received, whichever is lower. Clear to all of you? Tell me. This. Nathan understood now? Just now I gave you all the examples. No? We'll go ahead. Sure, pay attention now. Rule 2BB talks about these 6 types of allowances. Okay, Rule 2BB gives you this 6 types of allowances, which follows 1014(1). Again, I'm repeating. What is 1014(1) category? There is no moderate limit on the amount of allowance which can be given in this category. 1014(1). Okay. Secondly, exemption depends on amount of expenditure. Clear or no? Tell me, everybody. Pakka? So I'll in the notebook with you. Come on. You also. (1014) allowance are how many bachchu? There are 2 of them. Okay. First one we saw was 1014(1). Simple. (1014)(1) and 1014(2). First one. No upper limit for amount. And exemption depends on amount of expenditure. Okay. Amount received or spent, whichever is lower. I'm talking about exemption. Okay. Amount received or spent, whichever is lower. Finally, and 1042 bacho will be exactly opposite. Upper limit for amount. And second, exemption is not dependent on expenditure. Exemption is not dependent on expenditure. Pandilya? Done? If amount is more than limit, comma, excess is, Akash, good morning. Excess is taxable. Excess is taxable. Okay. If it is given more than limit, the excess is what? Taxable. Done till here? Can we go ahead, everybody? Chalo. So 1041 and 1042. What is common? They are part of salary. They are allowances. What is not common is the way they will be exempted. Hai na? Next one. Chalo, let's go ahead. Ready? So I'm talking of 1041 now. The first category. Hai na? 1014.1. Upper limit is not there in the amount of allowance which you can give. Exemption depends on expenditure. This is clear, Nitin? Okay. Check. First one. Traveling or transfer allowance for official purposes. Traveling allowances or transfer. Transfer means what? His job or etc. is getting changed from one location to another. So obviously for official purposes, he's doing transfer. Helper, servant allowance. Daily allowance should meet the daily charges. Research allowance given to scientists, etc. Conveyance means again transport. Okay, conveyance means again what? Transport, home to office, office to home, etc. Okay, but again for official purpose, for what bacho? Official purpose, transport or traveling, that is also allowed. And lastly, what I said, uniform allowance. Total 6 allowances where there is no monetary limit. And if you don't spend at all, then it is whatever you have not spent is taxable. Whatever you have not spent is taxable. Clear to you, all of you? Check here. 1042, but next category, okay? Next category. Allowance is not dependent upon expenditure. Okay, under 1014. Read with what again? What rule 2BB? Same thing. Again, now tell me. We are in second category now. 1014.2. Exemption depends on expenditure? No. Exemption depends on expenditure? No. Then exemption depends on whatever amount is given within the limits. Whatever amount is given within the limits, it will be exempt. Clear till here? And these are the limits which you have to, unfortunately, some of them are very important, which you have to by heart. The remaining, if you don't, that is also fine. Okay, now check. Pay attention, all of you. There is a limit on the amount which the employee can receive from the employer. So there is what, bacho, an upper limit? Yes or no? Check here. Was there any limit in the 1041 case? No. So in this 1042 cases, bacho, these allowances has an upper limit. Clear? Check here. Any amount received by employee in excess of these limits will be taxable in the hands of employee. Simple, important. I think we have done the same thing in the notebook also. Tell me. If the income is given more than the given limit, or who has given the limit? CBDT. The rules, these are in the rules. Rule 2BB. So limits are given in Rule 2BB. If you're giving more than the limits, the excess will be taxable. If you're giving up to the limit, or whatever is up to the limit, bacho, it is exempt. Up to the limit is rupee, it is rupee, it is what, bacho? Exempt, up to the limit. Is it clear? Tell me. Mansi, Khushbu, Nitin, Indrajit. Done? Okay. So again, check. It does not matter whether you actually spent it or not. Does not matter. You actually spent or not spent for the purpose. 1041 bacho, you have to submit the proof that you have spent. 1042, you don't have to submit any proofs that you have spent or not spent for that purpose. Are ha ya na? Understood? Okay. So it doesn't matter whether the amount which is received is actually spent or not by the employee. Up to that limit, it is exempt. Such a nice thing, in a way, nice thing. Put this as a part of salary and they are exempt. That's why the limits are very, very small, bacho. The amounts are very, very small. Okay, let's go through some of them. The first three are important as such. Okay, first three are important. Ready? First one. That's why and it is very time pass figure, very small, negligible figure. Okay, check. Children education allowance. That also for maximum 2 children only. If at all you have children, for their education, you can give some extra amount in the salary. How much? Rupees 100 per month per child. Tell me, is this sufficient? Is it sufficient? You tell me. It is like doing a favor, not even what favor, time pass. This is like mockery. I know. But again, and that also, but you tell me, if at all you have 2 children, and that also both of them are now at the school, etc. Total benefit is how much? 2,400 rupees for the year. That also on a higher side, no? 100 rupees per child, 2 children, bacho. 2,400 for the year. Does it make any significant changes? No. Now, whenever I ask you, how much will be the impact on tax liability? I understand now what I'm telling you. Whenever I ask you, how much will be the impact on tax liability? What should come to your mind is, bacho, 30%. How much bacho exemption will get? 2,400 rupees exemption will get. Amount. His income will reduce by 2,400. 2,400 bacho into 30%. Does it make any difference? 750 rupees almost. Is it any kind of, it is negligible. Even if they remove it, it's fine now. But you have to right now keep that in part of your syllabus, in your mind. Second, check now. They should actually increase 1 0 everywhere. 1,000 rupees per month per child is fine. Look at the children hostel education, hostel allowance, sorry. Children hostel allowance. I don't know in which world they are staying. 3,000 rupees per month is okay. But they are paying only what? 300 rupees, 10%. That also for maximum what? 2 children. How much? 300 rupees per month per child. Clear till here? So again, not a great amount. Third one. Transport allowance. Now pay attention. For personal purpose. Understand, but the word transport allowance is used here also. Conveyance. And here also. But if difference is what? This is for personal purposes, okay? Transport. You have to travel to go to office. And again from office to home. Home to office, office to home. This takes time, but this also takes your expenditure, na? Train tickets, bus tickets, your own petrol, anything. The expenditure should also be, and you're spending that to earn money only, on salary. So they are saying this should also be given as a part of salary, something to compensate for your transport, personal transport, okay? But again, check for employee who is blind or deaf or dumb or orthopedically handicapped, basically handicapped person. How much? Rupees 3,200 per month. So only for a bacho, handicapped person, they can be given rupees 3,200 per month, and this amount becomes fully exempt. Whatever we are looking in 1042, they are what? Fully exempt. Clear till here? Provided what? But it should be given within limits. Khushbu understood? That means pay attention. Actually, I'll give you 2 cases. If a person is given 3,000 rupees per month in this example, what will happen? Fully exempt. Correct? But if a person is given 3,500 per month, then 300 rupees will be taxable in the hands of employee because he is given above the limit. 1042 says what? Give within the limit. But still, if you give more than the limit, then what? Whatever is above the limit will be taxable in the hands of employee. Clear? All right. Next one. Again, transport allowance, but for personal purpose, but to an employee working in any transport system. What comes to your mind? Employee working in any transport system. What comes to your mind? Which kind of people come to your mind? Nahi re baba. That is dearness allowance. That is inflation. No. Which the thing I highlighted? Employee working in a transport system. Who comes to your mind? Any kind of transport, but take it. Employee, I'm saying. Rickshawala is not an employee. Rickshawala is independent. Or a cab person is also independent. They are not doing job. They don't get salary. They're doing business. Yes. driver, conductor, your railway driver, whatever it is, your this aircraft carrier, pilot, isn't it? Even for that matter, ship. So they're talking of employee working in any transport system. Understood, Ilya? If the driver is getting salary, then yes, also he also in a way. But drivers generally are paid on some other basis. They don't get this kind of allowances. Okay? Clearly, keep in your mind normally conductor, drivers, etc. All right? And your railway employees also those, mainly again drivers. Now, transport allowance for personal purpose. To an employee working in any transport system. Ready? Check. 70% of such allowance up to maximum rupees 10,000 per month will be allowed as exemption. Okay, let us say I give you a figure. 5,000 rupees per month is given. Then how much will be exempt? 3,500. Correct? No, everybody. All right, Delia? 3,500. Why 3,500? 70% of such amount, 70. 7 5 35. So 3,500 will be exempt. Clear? We are in the exemption column. Okay, Delia? The monetary limit of such exemption is rupees 10,000 per month. The monetary limit of such exemption is rupees 10,000 per month. Okay. So understand, if at all, pay attention. I'll give, let us say, 20,000 rupees per month as transport allowance. Okay, for this person. So 70% becomes also what? 14,000. But limit is what? 10,000. Very good. Yes. Then we'll give how much exemption, Nitin? Khushbu? 10,000 rupees. Correct. You are right. Correct. Done, Delia? All of you? We'll go ahead. So these first are very important. Transport allowance, maybe at times it may be asked. Then tribal area allowance. You are working in a tribal area. Arey bhai, you are not a tribal. Okay, you are not a tribe. Neither the employer. The employee is working in a tribal area. Especially there are some government companies, some companies. For that, you have to work in some tribal area. Okay, your work station is in such location. So you can give in some extra amount. Special compensatory allowances, like what tribal areas, scheduled areas, agency areas. Again, these areas, whatever are defined by CBDT, Rule 2BB. So again, we don't have to go into that details. Counter-insurgency allowance granted to the members of armed forces operating in areas away from their permanent locations. So again, this is given in the part of the salary. Okay. To what? Members of armed forces, your defense, military, etc. And if they're working away from their home station, then how much can be exempted? 1,300 rupees per month can be exempted. Clear? Underground allowance. Do people bacho can also work under the ground? Tell me. Under the ground working. Which one? Which field comes to your mind? Okay. You're talking about drainage. Okay, fine. Yes, it's not wrong. What else? Very good, Mansi. Correct. You can also do mushroom business. Are you aware? Under the ground, mushroom business. And that business can go into lakhs and crores also. Diamonds, your metals, all of them are what? Under the ground. Mining is done. Mining. So obviously the employees are working under the ground. Yes or no? No, mushroom means not drugs. Okay. Why drugs? Which drugs are we talking about? No. We're talking about employee paying to employee, and the employee's working conditions or employee's location is under the ground, like mining. Or yes, drainage cleaning also, let us say. They have to work in such conditions. Check. So underground allowance granted to employee who is working in uncongenial, not clean, not clear, unnatural climate in what but to underground mines. It is quite risky if at all you have heard. Working in mines because temperature is very high over there. No air ventilation properly. Then again, there are risk of collapsing of mine. Have you heard of that? Collapsing of mine? KGF, correct, KGF, great, nice. I've not seen the first part also properly, but yeah, working in the mine. Is it a very healthy condition to work in, healthy location, healthy condition also? No, you know? So you're doing something extra. So you are given bacho again some extra amount, okay? 1,300 rupees per month. Uncongenial means what? I think not proper, yeah. You know? We'll just quickly check what uncongenial. Not clean, I think. What was it? Uncongenial. Not friendly, not pleasant, not good, not suitable. Okay. Unfriendly. Okay. Not nice, simple, not nice. We'll go ahead. Again. So this was what? Counter-insurgency allowance. This was what? Underground allowance we have covered. Correct. Okay. 800 rupees per month. Okay. Then special compulsory allowance, highly active field area. Highly active field area allowance to members of armed forces. What do you think, Bacho? Highly active field area. What do you think? Try to read that. Armed forces. Armed forces you're talking about. Very good, Mansi. Not mines, not that not war mines. Yes, Army BSF is covered. Obviously, we are talking armed forces only. But armed forces, yes, BSF also fine, correct. Armed forces are soldiers only. Highly active means what? Those areas highly active. And if a soldier is getting posted in Kerala, he'll enjoy. I'm not saying, but just generally I'm saying. But if the same soldier is posted in Jammu, Kashmir, what will happen? Not happen. What I'm saying, risky or not risky? They're highly active field, highly active area. I'm not talking of atomic energy and all of that. No, nuclear energy. That area is active in such kind of cases. Okay. Or events. Border also, yes. Borders also. Around border, Rajasthan, Pakistan, yes. All of that. Those areas are in a way active. Then you have some areas like tribal areas also for that matter. Near Chhattisgarh, that area is there. Anybody's aware? Gadchiroli and all of that. Chhattisgarh, have you heard of that? You might have heard of all those lots of cases in the tribal areas, war between the army, what war, but yes, sometimes army attacks them, sometimes they attack the army. Near that Chhattisgarh area, okay? I don't remember that. There were many cases. Every time there are 40 or 50 deaths, maybe on both sides or one side. So they are highly active areas. See, at times you might have heard, I don't know, that sometimes people are who don't cooperate with the politicians, who don't cooperate, or especially from these locations. Then they're sent to such location, highly active location. Naxalite, correct? Yes, Nathan, correct. Naxalites, correct. So it is in a way thought of punishment. That if you don't cooperate, we'll send you to that location. And then in that location, then there is no law and order properly. Even police people are very much, you can say, scared of getting posted in such location. Right. I hope you understood. So it is again a risky area. That's why then again they can be paid this kind of allowance. Understood? And lastly, island duty allowance to the member of armed forces. Again, Lakshadweep, Andaman Nicobar, etc. Wherever they have to work on an island. So for that, again, a separate allowance can be given. Clear, Delia? Fine. So first of all, tell me, did you understand two types of allowances? One is dependent on monetary limit. Another doesn't have monetary limit. Correct, Delia? Where there is no monetary limit, bacho, exemption depends on expenditure. Where there is a monetary limit, then it is fully exempt till the limit. Whatever you have received. Clear, Delia? If you received more than the limit, then it is taxable. Clear? Done till here? Tell me, should we do some questions now? Oi, Kushbu, Mansi, tell me. We'll go ahead. Yeah. Ready? Question number 13, 1-3. Question number 13. Give a star mark. You'll write in the notebook also which type of question is that. Hai na? And over the write down types of allowances. Ready? We'll read the question. Okay. Ready, all of you? Okay. Mr. Shrikant has 2 sons. He is in receipt of, that means he receives children education allowance of rupees 150 per month for his elder son and rupees 70 per month for his younger son. Okay, 2 sons, so both of them are receiving, I mean, not both of them. The employee, Shrikant, is receiving children education allowance for both of them. Separate amounts. Both the sons are going to school, no problem. He also receives other following allowances. What? Transport allowance, rupees 1800 per month. He is spending 1080. Tribal area allowance, hostel allowance, 2000 per month per child. Leave travel allowance, medical allowance, okay, and helper allowance. Correct, Ilya? What are we asked to do? Find out. Compute his taxable allowances. Find Ilya? So look at the income, whatever allowances he has received, and then from that we will reduce the exemption part. Okay. We'll take the income, whatever allowance he has received, and then we'll reduce the exemption part. What remains will be what? Taxable part. Simple. Okay. We'll go ahead. Question number 13. Write down. Computation of taxable allowances. Computation of taxable allowances of Shrikant for AY 23-24. Find Ilya? Particulars. Rupees. Particulars rupees. Ready, everybody? Okay. First we start with what is children education allowance, hai na? Ready? So first one. Children education allowance, right, Ilya? Now, child-wise, the amounts are different. Kushbu, Nitin, correct? Child-wise, the amount are different. Why? Elder one is getting how much? 150. A younger one, 70. So we can also do calculation child-wise. Okay. So first one. First, always show how much you have received. So how much you have received for your elder one? 150 rupees. Rupees 150. For how many months? 12 months. 18. Correct? Is received. How much is exempt? Tell me, much all of it. Look at your textbook. Keep one scale or pencil over there in that on the table. Types of allowances. How much is exempt, bacho? Give me a figure. Correct. Correct. So how much should I reduce here? Very good. So less exempt. Okay. Rupees 100 into 12 months. Very clear? All right. So for elder son, bachcho, it is how much exempt? Sorry, how much taxable now? 600. Use common sense. My outer column is my incomes. Outer columns are my income. Never ever by mistake also write anything negative in the outer column. Why? Why can't you write anything negative in the outer column, bachcho? Tell me. Sorry. Why can't you write anything negative in the outer column? Because there is no concept of loss in chapter of salaries. Correct. Exemption cannot be more than income. Correct. Very good. है ना? Exempt means what? How much is allowed to be reduced? है ना? So you can reduce maximum only to the extent of what is received. You can reduce more than what you have received. You can't reduce more than what you have received. Barabar? We'll go ahead, everybody. And I told you one more thing yesterday. Any kind of income from salaries cannot be in loss. Any kind of income from salaries, but you cannot be in loss. Okay? Be one younger son. How much he received? 70, I think. 84, so 840. Tell me, Khushbu, amount of exemption. Yes, Nitin, correct. Yes, Indrajit, correct. Khushbu. Fancy. Idhar gay Khushbu? Where are you? Did you answer? हाँ, tell na then. सोच रही हूँ. Okay. सोचो. Thinking. What are the wordings written over there? Rupees 100 per month, per child. But again, use common sense. Can we exempt more than the income, Khushbu? You pay attention here. Can we give exemption more than the income? No. So I can't take 1200 now over here, Khushbu now. The upper limit is 1200, but my income is less than 1200. So I'll take up to 840. Understood? So write down exempt lower of 100 rupees or 70 into 12 months. Clear till here? This is very simple. All right. I hope you understood. Children education allowance was which category? Tell me quickly. 1014-1 or 1014-2? I did not ask you this question before. Correct. 1014-2, na? Where there is an upper limit on the amount of exemption, and exemption is not dependent on expenditure. Understood? Exemption cannot be more than income also. This is very basic. All right. Next one. Is he getting hostel also now? Tell me. I'll do that first now. Children hostel allowance. I'm feeling very bad for those children. No amount only. Tell me. How much is received first? Rupees 2000 per month per child. So how much? into 2 children, है ना? 1400 बच्चों, correct? 48,000, sorry, 48,000 received. Is it right? 24 and 24, 48,000 received. How much is reduced, allowed? Only up to rupees 300 per month into 12 months into 2 children. Yes, Celia? So 36 and 36, 72. 7,200. Is it right? Everybody tell me. I'm running this, okay? Exam under section 1042. You can run that in the for all the cases, but later on you can keep it as a practice. How much, 7,200 is okay? Tell me. So how much taxable? 40,800. No? Clear? 40,800. We'll go ahead, everybody. So done till here? Let's go ahead. Chalo. Which one is now next? Transport allowance. The wording is used in 1042, transport allowance. Right till here? How much, bachcho? Is transport allowance exempted under section 1042? No. It is available only to. It is available, but only to which type of person? 1041 is different. 1041 is also different. Very good. Yes, yes. No. Not that Indrajit, the other one also. Handicapped person. Correct. Yeah. For them, some higher amount is given. Correct, Elia? Apart from the remaining others, normal, whatever, not handicapped, for them it is fully taxable. So for transport only you have to think of 2 people, handicapped and that transport system employee. Kushbu understood? So it is what, fully taxable. No, 14 it doesn't have this part. How much it is? 1800, no? Okay, they don't directly use the word transport. Okay, for that. And what is common here? Official purpose. Right? Traveling, transfer, conveyance for official purpose. Done? How much is this? 216. 2600, no? Check. First of all, what you have to do? Pay attention. Any allowance is received, correct? Pay attention. You have to first of all find out, identify. It is 1014.1 or 1014.2. Correct, Leo? They may give you XYZ allowance. What did I say? Let them use the word XYZ allowance. What will you do? Is it under 1041 or 1042 also? No. So we just have to fully tax it. Correct, Leo? Now check. For 1014, for transport allowance, is the wording used in 1041? Is the transport allowance word used? Transport allowance. There is traveling or conveyance in 1014.1. Correct, Leo? traveling or conveyance. So that does not come into picture. Then 1014(2). We have two cases, handicapped and transport system employee. Are hi ya now? Is it given to us? He's a transport system employee or he's handicapped? No. So again, the exempt section 10 is what? Don't forget that. No, what is section 10, bacho? Exemption. So no exemption under 1014(1), no exemption under section 1014(2), no exemption. So what? They become taxable. Clear till here? Now, and they have purposely given you spend. They have purposely given you to confuse you. Spend rupees 1080 per month. It is not dependent on expenditure because it is not part of 1014(1). You know? 1014(1) bacho allowances are where you will get exemption based on expenditure. Are hi ya na? Understood? Can we go ahead? So if you don't find it as exempt under section 10, again I'm repeating, if you don't find it under section 10, just simply make it fully taxable. Simple. Okay. All right, let's go ahead. Next one. Kushbu, understood? Fourth one. Tribal area allowance. Lecture हो गया? Lunch break है अभी? Tribal area allowance. How much is received? 6,000. कर लिया. What do you do next, बच्चों? Less. Exempt under which section? Tell me now. Tell me, बच्चों, quickly. Exempt under which section? Very good. 1014(2). Correct. At what rate? You will tell me the limits now. Tribal area is how much? 300 or 200? Look at the table. You have all the figures. 200? $24? Finally, 3,600 taxable. Kushbu, tell me, are you getting or no? Good. We'll go ahead. Hostel we have already covered. Hostel allowance we have covered. Leave travel allowance. Right now you are not aware. So just write down whatever I'm giving you. Okay. If it is allowance, but it is fully taxable. Are you understanding something? Allowance means what? Given on regular basis. है ना? Given on regular basis. Clear till here? Fully taxable. So how much? 40,000. Next one, 6 months, also very important. Star mark here. Medical allowance fully taxable. This wording is exactly given also in which table? We have a table of fully taxable, partly and exempt. In fully taxable, you have this word. You have that allowance, medical allowance. Okay? Fully taxable. Understood here? Again, writing bracket, fully taxable. How much? 10,000 outer column. It is not per month. It is full figure. It is not obviously not dependent on expenditure. Nothing. Helper allowance is given, but important. Tell me, does it make a difference in your answer now? Helper allowance. Kushbu, tell me. Indrajit. Received how much? 10,000. Very good, Indrajit. Exempt or not exempt? Khushbu. Answer. Yes, correct. Indrajit. Nitin, Mansi, tell me. Exempt or no, and how much? Whatever the figure. Correct. Less. Under section 1014 1. How much? Whatever you spent, 8,000. Correct. Spent, but obviously up to the limit. You can't take more than the amount received. Exemption cannot exceed income. Done till here? I'm just writing a lower of received or spent. So lower of received is how much? 10,000. Spent is how much? 8,000. Done. Next one. That is the total taxable allowances. Okay. Important. Total taxable allowances. How much is this? Give me a figure to come on total. $180,600. All right. Current Nitin, Indrajit, Mansi, Khushbu. Mansi, I got your case. 118,600. Done? Good. I hope you got it there. How to find out the allowances, no? Keep in mind 1041 and 1042. Okay. Look whether it is a part of 1041 or 1042. If 1041, whatever is received will be exempt till the extent of expenditure. 1042, whatever is received will be fully exempt if it is within the limits. Simple. Clear? So identify 1041 or 1042. If none of them, then it is fully taxable. Clear till here? All right. We come to one of the most important allowance. Most important. Okay, very important. 1039. This should be by heart in your mind. You'll be using it a lot. Is using it a lot. Too much. Ready? Come back to the textbook. Theory part. Most important. 1013A. House rent allowance. I think I told you to read it, but yeah, fine. No problem. If you've done, good. Ready? You there, all of you? House rent allowance. I told you allowance is given for a specific part only, purpose only. Every allowance is given for every particular purpose. So here the purpose is what? House rent. The purpose is what, bacho? House rent. Again, your what? Basic necessity or no? House rent is what? Rent or house is a basic necessity. You may either own it or stay by rent. Either own it or stay by rent. Simple. So here, if you're owning, will you pay rent? We have done house property now. If you're owning the house, will you pay rent? No, in fact, you'll receive it maybe. But here you're talking about expenditure. Okay, pay attention now. You are spending towards house rent. Clear till here? It is an extra expenditure or no for you? Yes, it is an extra. It is an expenditure for you. So your employer wants to help a little bit. Employer wants to help a little bit with your rent amount. Okay. So for example, you are paying rupees 10,000 per month as rent. You are paying what? Rupees 10,000 per month as rent. The employer says, okay, let me help you with 3,000 rupees. So at least he's bearing some burden of yours. No? He's taking care of some burden of your house rent. Tell me, got it, Leo? All of you? So since you are spending towards house rent, employer is helping you a little bit. That's it. That part of salary is called as house rent allowance. Okay. Now this is useful as such. Understand now, I'm very practical now. This is useful as such only to those persons who are actually paying rent. Are you paying rent? You are not paying rent. No? You as practical, you are not paying rent. But if you receive HRA in your salary, then what happens? It becomes unnecessarily fully taxable. It becomes what? Fully taxable. Clear, all of you? We'll go ahead. Check now. So HRA is a special allowance. Now pay attention. There are 3 columns: fully taxable, fully exempt, and in the center, partly taxable. And that we have 2 categories: 1013A and 1014. Now we are doing the other one, 1013A, which is partly taxable, therefore partly obviously what? Exempt. Clear till here, all of you? Okay. Let's go ahead. HRA, house rent allowance. HRA is a special allowance specifically granted to an employee by his employer towards what purpose? Rent for residence of the employee. This just now I explained to you, bacho. All the allowances are to help or compensate for specific purpose. Hai ki nahi? Clear till here? Okay. Chalo, next one. So check. HRA granted to an employee is exempt to the extent of, again, least of the following. Least. Okay. Exemption we are talking about. What are they saying? Check here. Metro cities. First of all, let's focus over here. Especially for these 4 cities. Okay. Metro cities. Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Mumbai. HRA is exempt under section 1013A. If at all you receive HRA, then only we'll talk about exemption. No. If in the salary there is no HRA component, then this picture will not arise. Understood here? So we're talking of exemption only if you're receiving HRA in your salary. For exemption, we check what 1013A. Clear or no? And what does 1013A say? It is exempt as least of the following. What 3 categories, 3 numbers we have? Check. Again, same thing. Actual HRA received. Again, same thing. Your exemption cannot be more than income. That's why they are giving all the time. Minimum is what you actually received. Actual HRA received. First, done till here. Second, rent paid minus 10% of salary. Whatever rent you have paid minus 10% of salary. Clear till here, bacho? That can be the exemption given. Okay. And lastly, 50% of salary. 50% of salary. So now these rules, CBDT, Income Tax Department has brought this rules, we will be following them only. And obviously, whatever their own logic may be. Okay, check here. What is the amount exemption for 1013 HRA? Actual HRA received, or rent minus 10% of salary, or 50% of salary. Clear till here? Let me just ask you a very simple question. Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Mumbai. Metropolitan cities, metro cities. Their cost of living is high or low? What do you think? Their cost of living is what? High or low? Answer. High, obviously. Correct, Delia? That's why the only difference over here is that they're saying 50% of salary. So the only change between other cities, okay, non-metro cities, is what? Other only thing is what? There we have 40% of the salary. Okay, can you see here 40% of the salary? Understood? Some stupid question some students ask me. Sir, what about Bangalore and Pune? They're also getting metro now, metro railway. They will also be part of it now. Tell me. Pune, Bangalore are working on metro. Or they have metros. Nagpur also. Will be part of these cities? Answer is no. Okay. It has nothing to do with your railways and metro rails. Okay. It has nothing to do with this metro railways. Okay. Metro means metropolitan means what? It is a you can see a location which has many, you can say, culturally different people. Like New York is also a metropolitan city, not because it has metro railways. Metropolitan means different, you can say. Sir, if an employer provides house in his company, then again HRA can be given. But if the employer is providing his own house, employer is providing house, then obviously he will not pay HRM to the employee. Correct? Those questions also we have to see. We will be doing those options also. Okay. So, but metro doesn't mean metro railway. It is just 4 most important cities of the country. East, west, north, south. Not aware, no? These were the most important city. Were still important cities in the country. Okay. Delhi, Chennai, Kolkata, and Mumbai. Clear to all of you? For these cities, the rate is 50%. Any other city now, it is 40% for point number C. Clear till here? All of you tell me. Done? Okay. We'll go ahead. However, now this is not easy. HRAC, if you do, it is for 5-10 minutes, you'll focus properly. You'll get your entire grip on HRA. You do by heart little bit things, but yes, there are lots of calculations involved. Okay, everybody? Ready? So check first one. Some notes. Exemption is not available to an SSC who lives in his own house. Why? Obviously, he's not paying rent or in a house. I mean, if at all he's staying in his own house, no HRA available. Simple. Right? HRA exemption not available. Or in a house for which he has not incurred the expenditure of rent. He has not spent on rent. He is staying in a house, not his house. Second part is what or no. So he is not staying in his own house. He doesn't have a house of his own ownership. But he's staying in such a house where he doesn't have to pay any rent. Guest. What else? Your relatives, maybe you're staying in a relative's home. Correct. And yes, your own case. Right now, bacho, your own case. You are staying in a house not owned by you, but you don't have to pay the rent. Are ha ya na? Clear? Right. Can we go ahead? So in that case, you will not get exemption, HR exemption, because you're not spending on rent. So one thing again, let me tell you, to claim this HRA exemption, that's why you have to pay, you have to submit rent receipts, evidence that yes, you have actually paid the rent. Okay, this will be again later on important. You have to submit the rent receipts, so that you actually paid the rent. Clear? Next one. Salary for this purpose. This will be a headache. You can't help it. Even I can't help it. The law is as it is right now. 10% of salary. Or you can say for this calculation of third point, 50% of salary. Yes, tell you all of you. We'll go ahead, everybody. Check. Point number 2. Salary for HRA purpose only. Salary only for HRA purpose means basic salary, dearness allowance given, okay, which is considered for retirement benefits. Considered for retirement benefit. But so what do you get after retirement? What all things do you get after retirement? In a government employee also. Pension, yes. What else? Provident fund, very good. Gratuity. All these things you can get. Okay. Now to calculate this figures of provident fund, gratuity, etc., they may add dearness allowance or they may not add dearness allowance. Depends on employer to employer basis. Okay. So they will give you in the question normally that DA forms part of retirement or DA doesn't form a part of retirement. That will be given to you. Okay, tell you all of you. So salary for this purpose is what? Basic plus DA forming part of retirements. And okay, if provided in the terms of employment, means what? Given in the contract, no? given in the contract of employment, plus commission as a fixed percentage of turnover. Why an employee will be paid? Why an employee will be paid commission? Obviously, if he's working on sales area or sales business, isn't it, everybody? No. Yes, Leo. So they are paid in commission basis. So whatever is the sales or whatever is the turnover of the company, accordingly, they will be paid for what? Commission. So understand, very simple. Please pay attention. HRA for this purpose, not HRA, sorry, salary for this purpose. Basic plus DA forming part of retirement, है ना? Plus commission as a fixed percentage of turnover. Yes, Celia? Done all of you? Let's go ahead, everybody. Khushbu is not there only, you know. Then relevant period means there. The period during which the said accommodation, okay, the area where you're living, was occupied by the assessee. Okay. Then you may not be staying in same location for 12 months. 8 months you joined a new home, or you took something on rent in middle of the year, or you left a house in the middle of the year, you went back to your home. So there can be cases where you are not paying rent for the entire 12 months. So we are required to calculate only for the month for which you are paying the rent. Is it clear what I'm telling you? Tell me, is it okay? Fine. Okay, but let's go ahead, everybody. Now, next one, last one also important, okay, for your understanding. If in any data it is not given, whether DA forms part of retirement or not, consider it as does not form part of retirement. If it is not given in the question, then. Okay. Okay, all of you? We'll solve one question, because then again, in that case, doing new concept and then it will not give you a good grip on the concept unless we solve a question. Is it okay? Ready? But we'll do a very small questions, at least for today. Right? Let's go. So let's solve. Come to question number 11. 11. HRA. Done? Let's read your question. Ready? Mr. Kumar has the following receipts from his employer. He receives, na, bachcho? Basic pay rupees 30,000 per month. DA rupees 6,000 per month. Commission rupees 60,000 per annum. And house rent allowance rupees 9,000 per month. Clear, all of you? Find out the amount of HRA eligible for exemption to Mr. Rajkumar, assuming that he has paid a rent of rupees 10,000 per month for his accommodation in Kanpur. The city is important, bacho, for us. City. Location is important. Location. Yes, it is important because 50% or 40%. Metro 50%, point number C, and non-metro 40%. I hope that you remember. Now don't ask me again, sir, what if just outside Delhi, Noida, Gurugram and all of that, okay? Up to corporation limits. Okay, next one. DA forms part of retirement. DA forms part of salary for retirement benefits. Okay, DA forms part of salary. They've given you. Whatever DA is completely given to you. So calculate what was your taxable salary income. Simple, Delia. Not very much, not complicated question actually, honestly. The data is in a way, everything is ready-made given to you. Sure, let's solve question number 11. What is asked in the question? Computation of taxable salary of Mr. Rajkumar for AY 23-24. है ना? Ready? Particulars rupees. All right. Tell me what else? We'll go ahead, everybody. Chalo. No, whatever salary we know, that will start. We'll start writing. First one, tell me about basic pay, obviously fully taxable. है ना? Basic pay or basic salary, same thing. $360,000. Okay. Then dearness allowance. I have not dearness allowance. It is fully exempt or fully taxable or partly. Tell me what happens to DA. To DA. Fully taxable. Yes, it is fully taxable. So it be 6,000. 12 months. So 72. है ना? कर लियो. Commission. Fully taxable. Did you see the word commission anywhere as exempted? No, fully taxable. It is 60,000 rupees per annum. Okay. And here you have HRA. HR. Something is there. We know there is something exempt. So first of all, take the income in the inner column. Yes, Delia. 108, not? So 1,08,000. Fine, Delia. Next one. What should we write, Bacho? We have to look at the exemption part or no? Yes, we have to. So write down less. Whatever that figure will come to, that we will see. 1013. But for that, you have to do lots of calculation also. Are hi, Anna? I'll got as working note 1. Whatever calculation we have to do for 1013A. Yes. Then that figure will come in the outer column. The total of the salaries is called as gross salary. Correct, Elio? What can we reduce from gross salary? Deduction under section, tell me now. 16. Under that we have 1A. What is it? Standard deduction. है कि नहीं? कर लियो up to rupees. $50,000. Is entertainment allowance given to you in the question? No. Professional tax given to you in the question? No. So now directly I can write down the answer here. Taxable salary. Clear? Ready? We'll go ahead, everybody. Total taxable salaries. So now we are going to do what? Calculation of HRA exemption. Hai na? So working note 1. HRA exemption calculation. All right. HRA exemption calculation. Okay. Now, HRA is exempt, but least of the following. HRA is exempt, least of the following. Try to remember what is the first one. Actual HRA received. Second, rent paid minus 10% of salary. Third, in this case now 40% of salary because he's staying in Kanpur, non-metro. Clear till here, all of you? Yes. First part. But for all of this, bacho, for especially for second part and third part, rent paid minus 10% of salary or 40% of salary. First, you have to find out the salary. And salary for HRA purpose is different. Okay, write down. First point. Salary for purpose of HRA. Okay. First, write the theory for your understanding. It is basic. It is first question. That's why I'm writing everything. Basic plus DA forming part of retirement. Yes, till here. Plus commission as a fixed percentage of turnover. Okay, till here. Fine. Now, is basic given to you in the question? I mean, are you able to find a basic for the entire year? Yes. How much was it? 360, na? Plus, is DA forming part of retirement, bacho? Tell me. Yes. DA is forming part of retirement. So whatever is the DA, that entire figure will take. How much? 72. But commission is not given in bracket as a percentage of turnover. Okay, they have not given you turnover, they have not given you percentage rate, nothing they have given you. They have given you direct figure. So we can't assume that it was on fixed percentage of turnover. That is not given. So I'm writing here nil. I'm writing in bracket also since not given. As fixed percentage of turnover. Okay. This salary comes to how much? 432, is it? Tell me. $4,32,000. Okay, till here, all of you. We'll go ahead. Now we can find out exemption, HRA exemption. Okay, second. Important. HRA is exempt. How much? Least of the following. Okay. First one. Chalo, ready? A. I've written A. Actual HRA received. How much? Very good. 1,08,000. Very good. Look in your income itself. Na, HRA, how much DA you have received? HRA, sorry. 1,08,000. HRA. What is second point? Rent paid minus 10% of salary. How much rent is paying? 10,000. Given to in the question into 12 months. Minus 10% of salary. Salary, bacho. We have calculated now 432. Are haan ya na? Understood clear, all of you? Okay. 432. This comes to 120 minus 43,200. Give me number. 76,800, correct? And third one, what do we have? 50 or 40? 40% of salary. Hai na? Do we have what given to you already salary? Yes. Salary is 44,32,000. How much? Obviously high figure, but still correct. 170 to 800. Nitin, understood earlier what is happening? We are doing the exemption part. So we have to compare three figures for exemption. And the least figure which will be exempted. We have calculated three figures. Which is the least one? Correct. This is exemption amount. This is exemption amount. Clear till here, all of you? Okay. So 76,800 is exempted. Put that in the main table. Give me gross salary. Sorry, first of all, give me taxable HRA. HRA is not fully exempt now. Give me taxable HRA first. Correct. Okay, Nathan. $31,200, take total now. Remaining though, I think it should be easy. How much? 523,200, is it? $5,23,200. And standard deduction, obviously, I'll get my entire 50,000 rupees because the gross salary is more than 50,000 rupees. Simple. Fine. Good. So this comes to 473,200. If any figure you did not understand, you can ask me later on. But please revise this question. Otherwise, try to do it in rough again. Simple. Okay. In the next lecture, I'll be doing lots of HRA cases, at least 3 or 4 more questions on HRA only. Then you'll be very much confident with the concept. Okay, till here, all of you? All right. So HRA, we've just started and done one question of HRA for today. So that's it for today for tax, income tax. Finally,